Hello there everybody, Sam Strains here, welcome back to the railway. Very excited today because we're going to be looking at another one of those fantastic Thomas and Friends locomotives. And today for the first time I'm going to be unboxing a Bachmann loco, and this one is Emily, as you can see, she's inside there. Very excited. The packaging's a little bit worse for wear on this one because it's been snipped off at the top, but luckily I was more careful with all the others, so those are more or less intact. So yeah, this is the Bachmann Emily, and it's the first of quite a few Bachmann models I'm going to be looking at with you, so hopefully you're going to enjoy this. This is the first one, and okay, let's see what she's like, shall we? And yes, this blister packaging is quite unusual, isn't it? I think these are the only locos I've ever had that have come in blister packaging, but it does make a lot of sense. You know, these engines don't have a lot of detail on them, so it does save a little bit of money just putting them in a plastic blister like this. Okay, well, I'm not going to go over the packaging too much because, as I say, the others are in better condition, so I'll show you the back on those or whatnot. So let's get straight on to getting Emily out. I will just pull out this paperwork first though. So these are just rubbish, these are the warranty stuff, so throw that to one side. And this is the interesting part. This is the 58748 Emily the locomotive / Emily, I don't know what that means. But there you can see the exploded diagram, all laid out there. You can even see, look, the eye mechanism, because she does have moving eyes, of course. So yeah, that's very interesting, but obviously not quite as interesting as getting the model out. So let's get her out straight away and let's see what she's like, shall we? Okay, put that to one side. Okay, shall we get Emily's tender first? I think we will. Okay, so there we are, as you can see, lovely little tender. It is very basic, but a few of the commenters were talking to me about this, and really with the Thomas models you don't really want a lot of detail, because first of all, the more detail you put on them, the less like the show they are, so you want them to be sort of lacking in detail a little bit, but also you can play with them. This tender is not going to break if you hold it the wrong way, or, you know, if you drop it. It's just not going to break because it's just so basic but yet so well built. So yeah, it's just the job, it's just the job. Okay, let's get Emily out then, if I can. Oh, this one's always awkward to get out. Hang on. Okay. So it's the same story again. She doesn't have a lot of detail, but there's enough there to give her lots of character, and there's enough there to make her accurate. But again, you can play with this, you can actually run it. It's not quite a toy, that being said. Let me put the tender with it. It's more than a toy because it does run on a railway, and it's sort of like, I suppose, quite an elitist thing, isn't it? But you can play with it, and you don't have to just let Dad do it. You know, you can do it yourself, and you can play with it. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the Bachmann range so far, and it really is just the job. Now, there's quite an interesting thing about the Emily model. As you can see, this front bogie here is not really a front bogie. It's actually, this one is freewheeling, but the rear wheel on this front bogie, in inverted commas, is actually another driving wheel, which is geared up to spin at the same rate as this wheel here. So you've actually got 4 driving wheels rather than just 2, but that's really good because it gives her some of that much needed pulling power. Anyway, here's a little bit of history on Emily, and then we'll get on to the review. So first of all, I've got to give a quick shout out to Morgan 2002-48. Thank you very much, Morgan, for getting in touch. Hope you liked the video. So anyway, Emily was built in around 1894 as a Stirling single locomotive, and she does most of her work hauling passengers on the main line with her own coaches, but she occasionally helps the other engines out too. Emily is a very clever and very kind engine, and although she can also be a tad bossy at times, she always does her best to make everybody on Sodor happy, especially the other engines there. As one of the oldest engines on Sodor, Emily is still going strong, and even though she's nearly 125 years old, she still plays her TV part of Emily in Thomas and Friends. So there she is then, the lovely Bachmann Emily, looking very, very smart. And yes, as I was saying, the detail thing, it's quite interesting because obviously these models don't need a lot of detail. In the show, they're not that detailed, and of course lots of detail would make them fragile, and as toys, which they are, that really wouldn't be a good idea. So that is what Bachmann have done here, which is really, really good in my opinion, and it brings the price down. Now, what Hornby do with their Thomas model is they convert existing models in their range so that they look a little bit like Thomas characters, but the problem is they're not accurate. They don't look particularly like their characters. Some of them do, most of them don't. and they also have a little bit too much detail, which makes them seem a little bit weird looking, but these Bachmann ones look just like the show. So because Bachmann have made their Thomas models purpose-built, they've built them specifically to look like Thomas models, it's done better, I think, and I think the models are better. So yeah, it's the classic Hornby-Bachmann scenario, isn't it, with Hornby choosing to make money rather than decent models. But as Bachmann seem to know, if you make decent models you will make more money, and surely any idiot could work that out, but not Hornby. Okay, so as you can see, let's look at Emily first. Let's look at her face. We always start with the face. As you can see, very, very realistic, very much like the show in my opinion. And of course you do have those moving eyes, which we will see once she gets going. Her buffer beam has a fair bit of detail. As you can see, her buffers are painted into the silver, and she even has a coupling hook fitted onto there too, which is very nice. But generally all of her paintwork is very nicely done. As you can see, she's got the typical sterling single gold lining on the loco boiler, and she's also got the safety valve here, which is quite a code on there, as you can see. But yeah, yellow lining all over her. She looks just fantastic, and lots of character, as you can tell. No cab detail, unfortunately, with Emily, but that's okay because I don't think you really see inside the cab very often on the show, do you? So that's great. And also the whole loco is done in a very glossy finish, which is just like the show as well. They all seem quite glossy on TV, don't they? So that's fantastic. The tender is just the same really, the same sort of livery with the brown, green and yellow, and yeah, it's very nicely painted. As you can tell, the lining is done very nicely, and the coal on top is strangely very well detailed for some reason. It just looks like the rest of the Bachmann coal, but that's okay, nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with a bit of realism. And of course with the coal, it doesn't matter if it's a bit more detailed because it doesn't make it any more fragile, so that's fantastic. But yeah, quite a basic model, but as I've said, that's exactly the point, and it makes the model a lot better for it. Okay, let's get her onto the track then, and let's see her eyes move, shall we? Okay, so there's Emily then down onto the track, looking fantastic, and in a few moments she's going to be coupling up to these two Southern coaches because I think those are sort of the right colour for her. Okay, let's give her a little try with the slow speed performance then. Now she only has two pickups on each side, and so I've parked her just behind this express point so that we can see how she does. So let me give her a little bit of juice then and see how she goes. Whoop. Well, she kicked in very quick, and as you can see she does a very good slow speed performance, and I notice even that she's derailed, so how she did that I'll never know, but let me fix that. Okay, try again. Okay. Oh, she was still derailed. That's not good, but I'm sure it's my fault, by the way. I don't think it's Emily's fault. Okay, yeah, so she did stop on the points eventually then. Okay, fair enough. Push her back a bit. Okay, so as you can see, great slow speed performance, and as far as I know she hasn't got great pulling power. I'm just going to put my finger on top and sort of turn the power up so that you can see her eyes moving. Can you see them? Yeah, there you go. So that is quite effective actually, isn't it? It really is good. Okay, I'm going to let go and send her off to those coaches then, see if she can couple to them. Okay, steadily does it. She is a very good slow runner, so we can do a nice steady coupling there. Okay, keep her pushing back. Okay, well keep an eye out for the other Thomas and Friends locos on the layout. I'll just get Emily off, and then I'll show you what else is going to be running alongside her. So yeah, let me know in the comments which other Thomas locos you spot. There goes Emily with her coaches then, and on the middle line we have, it's Gordon of course, and he's got 3 coaches today. He normally pulls 3 in the show I think, doesn't he? So that's nice. And then on the inside line we have, who is it? There you go, it's Henry, and he's got a little goods train because we all know he loves to pull little goods trains. So there's that. And yeah, enjoy the running session, let's see how they get on. Here comes Emily now, and I'm going to film her going up that hill, or Gordon's hill, in just a moment, so that we can see if she slows down with the coaches. But I did see her do it a second ago, and I didn't notice any slowdown at all, so that's quite good. 2 coaches seems to be okay. Here comes Emily up Gordon's hill then, and yes, Gordon did famously get stuck on this hill during, I can't remember which video it was, but he did get stuck. So yeah, check that out if you want to see Gordon get stuck. I can't remember which one it is though, so you'll have to check a few. I think it was the big Thomas and Friends running session, but I can't be sure of that. There's, what's his name, I forgot. Is it Henry? Yeah, it's Henry. I keep wanting to say Gordon. I know everyone would go crazy if I said that. Speaking of the devil, here is Gordon now. He's coming down Gordon's hill today to save him a bit of embarrassment, so that's good. I don't think he'll get stuck this time. No, he hasn't. He's done it very well. Looking good with his coaches too. Oh, this is nice. We've got Emily and Henry running basically together. They're obviously having a chat that we can't hear, aren't they? Although, is it me or is Henry sort of running away from Emily a little bit now? Has she offended him? Surely not. Well, he's certainly gone, hasn't he? Yep, he's off. He's not bothered. Alright, Henry, fair enough. Here we are at the top of Gordon's hill. Gordon's just gone by. Oh, he almost covered Emily up, but no. She is a nice runner though, she's very quiet, and the fact that she's Loco Drive is a very nice feature. I'm very pleased that she is Loco Drive. So very pleased with that, yeah. And now for my ratings then on the Bachmann Emily. First of all, detail 4 out of 10, so yeah, that isn't a very nice score, but as I was saying, the detail isn't very important with this model, which is why it's in red, and I'm not going to count that into the score. I should have really done that with the Hornby models as well, but they did put the detail on there, so I thought I would mark it. Performance 6 out of 10, yes, she can pull 2 coaches, but I don't think she'd manage any more really, and also she does struggle on the express points at those slower speeds, of course. Character though, 10 out of 10, they really couldn't have done a better job capturing Emily, and it really does just look like the engine from the show, so top marks there. And build quality, 9 out of 10, it is a little bit on the plasticky side, but I suppose once again it's a toy, so it's kind of supposed to be, so still good marks there. And value for about £50, which is what I paid, I really thought that was very, very good, so 9 out of 10 there. So overall then, that gives her 8.5 out of 10, and if I put her into the rankings, you can see that puts her 13th, just above the 5MT by Bachmann and below the Hornby Railroad Hall class. Well, it's lovely to have these characters back on the line again, isn't it? It seems like ages since I last showed them, but yeah, it wasn't that long since old Edward's review. Where is Edward anyway? Not seen him today. Huh. Alright then everybody, well that should just about do it for today. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, if you did, please feel free to leave it a like or even a comment, because that really does help me out. And also, if you'd like to, feel free to check out the Facebook and Twitter pages too, and they're at facebook.com/samstrains or twitter.com/samstrains. It would be lovely to see you over there, but for now folks, thank you very much for watching, and don't forget, if you have any loco trouble, you can now send them to me, and I will service them up for you. Just look me up on eBay and purchase the service there, or you can send me an email and we can do it directly. But yeah, once again then, for the last time, I know I've said it 10 times, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Cheers everybody.